Exactly.
When life throws you lemons, what do?
Orange juice. Yeah. That's what I do.
They or say attend church.
God is within us. So I guess
our body's a temple, right?
Exactly.
So I would write like explicit little novellas, and I'd rent them out to my classmates in class.
Oh wow. Okay.
After so many years of traveling there, year after year, that's become our happy place.
Okay.
That's our home away from home. So that was my declaration to the world of I love Madeira.
There you go. That's a good one.
They're everywhere.
No,
they're everywhere.
That helps.
They'll find you wherever you are. They'll get it to you.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
and that's the big question, I think, for any immigrant child, or any immigrant period. I think once you immigrate, that will continue with you. And I think it passes on, as you're saying, to the following generations as well. There's this sense that you almost don't belong anywhere. You belong everywhere and you don't belong anywhere because it has to mean a lot. Were you in search of the meaning of Saudades? Devin, how's it going?
Very good.
Very good. All right. Thank you for coming over. There was like a crazy schedule from my end. It wasn't his fault. It was all my fault because I'm getting old and I forget things. But we make things work. That's how we do it around here.
I love it. Plug and play. Let's roll with it, right?
Exactly.
When life throws you lemons, what do?
Orange juice. Yeah. That's what I do.
I clean the floor.
Do whatever you can. Devin, we met kind of like just for a few minutes when you brought my other guests from one of the other podcasts that I did, Jeff and Andre, right? And you said, oh, this is got a nice cool space here. We should talk. We should do things. And here we are sitting down. And then I went to research a little bit about you as well. I know you've written a couple of books. You brought a few of them here. You brought only 2, but you have more than 2.
Yes. There's 4 I've published.
You've published 4?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 38.
And you've already published 4?
Yeah.
Damn, I got to catch up. It's like I haven't published anything yet. A lot of podcasting, but no books yet.
Yeah.
I gotta figure that one out. So the first one that we have over here, you were just mentioning off camera. This is a story of essentially your family, how they came to Canada.
Yeah, absolutely.
So obviously this is a great point of inspiration for you. And I think I think every immigrant has a little bit of that history with them, you know, if it was either their grandparents or their parents or even themselves coming to another country. That's a story on itself. Mm-hmm. But you decided to tell the story of your grandparents, right? Or grandfather?
Yeah, my grandparents, my paternal grandparents.
Okay.
So my grandfather was the catalyst to bring us to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've always like written poetry, journal, whatever. I went to film school as well way back when. So I used to write scripts and stuff. What emerged from this like family history project was I was already contributing in local newspapers, and I had this narrative I was drawing from my grandfather's story.
Yeah.
And I was kind of drawing narratives of like each of my relatives in a family history book. But as I captured more details and more information about my grandparents, because they were much older. I was obviously a grandchild, but that wasn't like history that was discussed at grandma and grandma's house, right?
Was there like a language barrier at that time, or were you communicating well with them in Portuguese?
No, I was communicating well with them. It was just kind of like an unspoken history, you know?
Portuguese have a lot of that, I've noticed.
It was just
right?
buried history. It's not like they would talk about it, and it was like you'd catch little tidbits, but I'm a kid. I'm not paying attention. To me, I was more focused on being Canadian than Portuguese and recognizing that heritage and those roots. So that was kind of like irrelevant to me growing up.
I've noticed in our culture, you got it's either people who don't say anything about their past, or they just don't. It's not that they're hiding. It's just that it's not their way of being. And then you got the other part, which is they tell you all the story of their family, their neighbors, and everybody else. It's funny because I almost feel like there's no in between. There's like the one or the other side, right?
Yeah, it's like the silent generation from where my grandfather was raised to like the millennials that can't shut up and talk about.
and we just create podcasts
and the
to
boomers,
talk even more.
The boomers are kind of just like, yeah, they're there. I don't know. They'll talk about some of it, but like my dad, for example, it's like I would prompt him with questions. Yeah. He was the youngest of the family, so it was kind of like lost on him as well. But to him, it was just kind of just like, yeah, I don't know. Like my dad, yeah, grandpa did that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, can you tell me more about that? He's like, well, I don't know. Yeah. So I had to dig. I had to look for details. And as I captured more details, I started adding to my narrative. Okay. And then I ended up with a manuscript.
Wow.
And I thought when I, like I said, I was contributing to newspapers and I was getting great feedback. And I was like, I kind of overcame the fears of like putting that out there, or like sharing my voice with the community. I said, what the hey, like I'll publish this. I think there's benefit to readers. And this is similar history that other families can empathize with.
Yeah.
It's the lived immigrant experience, and sharing it, it was just simply just to have a voice heard and just to resonate with other readers out there. But I was hoping that those that read this or kind of brush up on this story, like have an itch to discover themselves too. Because in my mind, this is modern history that needs to be captured.
Have you had other people come up to you and say that? Like, oh, you know what? I read your stories and now I'm kind of like inspired into getting into my own family history and finding more things out?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I've had a few of those. I've had some that came out that were like distant relatives even. Like,
oh, wow. That's
cool. I read your book. My family's from Ginech too, and we knew your grandfather. We knew which was pretty wild.
Yeah.
But to inspire other people to just like ask those questions and recognize this heritage, this Portuguese thing of ours, like what it means and the sacrifice that our ancestors made to come here, that we can have like, I won't say a luxurious life, but I mean, it's far different than what could have been.
Well, at least right? Comparing, if you're going to be comparing what they used to, their life back in the day 100%. To what they came to find, I think it was a huge change, right?
Absolutely.
Back then, you would really, really notice Portugal back then, and especially in the islands back then, it was a rough time to live in. You know what I mean? And coming to a country like Canada, even in the what year did he come in?
So he came shortly after the first batch of pioneers.
Oh, okay.
He came in 1957.
Oof.
So he scored a contract with Pacific. Sorry, forgive me, I forget the railway company.
Yeah.
But they had him stationed in BC. So he flew to Montreal. Did a next expedition.
A lot of Portuguese went that way. Yeah.
Did a 1-year contract in Kitimat. While Avo, my aunt, my 2 uncles were children.
Yeah.
In San Miguel. He left his family behind to come work this 1-year contract.
Oh, wow.
As a middle-aged man who had, he wasn't, he had to adapt to laborious work. Because he was more like an admin office worker on the island. So imagine, like in your mid-30s, like you've never worked construction, railway construction.
Wow, this is fascinating.
The elements in a new country with like different languages, doesn't speak English. Like
I was going to ask, so he didn't know any English when he came, right?
No, but
like
he was motivated. He was hungry. And even the assessments, because they had to do a screening, they did a physical and a mental health check and all this. This is in the book as well. There's a tidbit that my aunts and uncle would say that Avu, he didn't have working man hands because he was an admin. He was a pencil pusher. And they noted that in one of the assessments.
Really? They were actually looking for that.
Yeah. They're like, you're a middle-aged man. Your hands don't look like you work, right? And he was motivated. He wanted that contract. He wanted to find opportunity for the family. So in the lead up to his follow-up assessment, he got like a stick, like a broom, rubbed his hands to callous his hands purposely.
Wow.
To give that impression that like, yes, I'm a hardworking man. Look at my hands.
That's insane that you have to put yourself through that just to make, and nowadays it wouldn't matter, right? And nowadays it would be complete opposite. Yeah. But, I've always appreciated the fact of, whoever immigrated back then. And in the 50s, I mean, we're going back, like my mindset is always around the late 60s, 70s, because that's when my parents immigrated. But when you go back an extra 10 years, that's even more difficult because even from a Portuguese perspective, Portugal was even in a worse shape, let's put it that way. Coming to Canada was just kind of like in the 50s was getting there, right? But it wasn't what we have now. So getting to a country that is completely different, not having the language, man, I value that effort so much. 100%. I don't think I would be able to do it, to be honest with you. I don't know.
Well, consider this too. At that time, yes, Canada was in a different state.
Yeah.
We were still under the British reign. Like, we weren't like Canada, like independent.
No.
We were independent, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we were still finding our identity. I still feel like we're finding our identity. But for the Portuguese, it's not like there was a hub already, like a satellite set up already to just dive into.
No, there were few and scattered.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there wasn't that community to really bring you in and get you acquainted. You were just...
I think that only started probably in the 70s. 70s, that's when in our communities you started seeing the groups getting together. You know, people would hang around in the same neighborhoods and all of that. I think that was the 70s, late 60s, 70s. That's when it all started. But yeah, the early 50s, like the first group of Portuguese, and even the second one, I think, you know, they really had to struggle. That was
absolutely.
Like I said, I don't know about you, but I think it would have been a very difficult choice for me to make.
I agree.
And I'm thinking it was a difficult choice for them too.
Oh, for sure. But for the exponential growth and the opportunity to thrive, right?
I know.
And it's not even like, I don't know, you think about today, we have social media, the access to the internet.
Oh, today I think is a lot easier.
You could find information and see firsthand accounts of like what it's really like over there. At that time, it's like, what resources did you have to, other than word of mouth, maybe an article you read in the paper? It's just like, listen, I heard about this castle in the sky and I'm going to fly. Let's go. Yeah. Wild, right?
That is insane. So going through the history of your family, like, talk to me about stories that you didn't know, anywhere from the funny to the odd ones to the really, oh wow, like the serious ones. Did you get a bit of all of that going on?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see some big takeaways. Avu, his father died at an early age, which I didn't realize. So he was essentially raised by his mother.
Okay.
And you know, he revered my great grandmother. So when he started a family with my grandmother and moved to Ponta Delgada, so he's from Ginete on the westernmost point of São Miguel.
Okay.
My grandmother was from Povoação, Faial de Terra.
Okay.
On the east side. They met in Ponta Delgada. That's where they started their family. But my great-grandmother was a big supporter of their relationship and helped them raising their kids and building that, right? A big takeaway or a big discovery was I didn't realize, like, my great-grandmother died at home. Oh. And she was so, like, steadfast, like the backbone to the family. And the story goes, she was ironing, and it was a coal iron, so no electricity at the time. So she had to step outside to blow on the coals to get the iron going, and came back in and did her duties. Well, she fell ill. Yeah. She was diagnosed with pneumonia, was hospitalized, and essentially on her deathbed. And Vavu had a hard time dealing with it. Like, he was, like, distraught. Yeah. Right? But my great-grandmother pleaded with him, like, please, like, take me home. I don't want to die in this hospital. Like, get me the hell out of here, right? Wow. So he did his due diligence, took her home, and she passed away at home. And that was, like, in the book, that was the moment when I build a narrative of these stories and, like, what led, like, what did he live for? What did this person live for? What were the events that sort of, were they matured or earned their stripes or earned a badge? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. For, like, military terminology. But the narrative I drew in the book was the moment that, you know, he was a man, absolutely. But that was the moment where he had to step into the driver's seat. Yeah, exactly. And he didn't have the backbone of his mother helping him, taking care of the kids, falling back on her. It's like, that was the moment where he was, like, thrusted to the front. Okay, like, now I'm at the helm of this ship, you know? And that's a big, like, you know, coming of age moment, exactly. I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I mean, those moments are never easy. And like I said, when we look back to those times, there's always that extra big layer of difficulty on top of everything, because when we compare it to today, and we sometimes take it for granted, all the technology that we have, all of the easy access to things that we have. back then it's like, okay, we're going to go home. Well, he's probably going to get on a carriage pulled by, you know, it was a different time. Like cars, only the rich people had a car. Like nowadays everybody has a car. You know what I mean? It's like that big difference that when we look back, and sometimes writing a book about our family, it takes us back there. Do you, when you're writing about your grandparents, your family, as a writer, how do you feel? Does it take you back? Do you really, is it almost like you're a fly on the wall when you're going through these stories?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like putting myself in their shoes. I want to see through their eyes what that experience was like, be it the setting they're in, the feelings, the emotion that comes with that, the conversations, what leads to what. So it is very much like being a fly on the wall. And for me, it's cathartic. It's healing for me, because these are stories, like I said, like grandpa, grandma were very tight-lipped growing up. Even if I had the opportunity to ask them these questions, I feel like it would kind of be hard to pull some of this out. But for me, it's like in the absence of information, you know, me being a writer, I need to make sense of things. I need to know A to B to C, what leads to what. And drawing these narratives helps me make sense of these events. And like I said, in sequence, how one thing leads to the other, and helps me make sense of who I am and my family members, why we are the way we are. And, you know, traditions and pastimes that's the thing too, making sense or drawing the differences between what's worth keeping versus like what can we shave off to better ourselves, be it traditions, behaviors, characteristics, you know, like being very, what's the word? Dang, I can't think of this. Superstitious.
Yeah.
Like being superstitious in a Portuguese household, mom would, you know, don't open an umbrella in the house, little things like that. That like
Trust me,
growing
I know
up,
about
like
that.
I was like fearful of like doing these little things. And it's like, not that like, you know, I'm pissing in the wind doing this now, but it's like, why was there so much precedence on this one little aspect of life when we could focus our attention on other things? Like, you know what I mean? Like little things like that may be unreasonable, maybe, or it's just like, we need to get over something.
So I guess in the search of facts to write this book, there's also those aha moments, kind of like, so this is why we say the things we say, or we do the things we do. Okay, so this now makes a lot. Was there a lot of those moments?
Absolutely. Another one I'll share with you was grandma, grandpa. So I grew up on the east side of Toronto. I'm born and raised in Toronto. A lot of people don't realize Leslieville
is
where
an
I grew
extra
up,
level of
was Portuguese
stress.
It was a little Portuguese.
There was a pocket there, right?
Small little pocket.
Yeah.
At St. Joseph's Parish. And we used to have mass in Portuguese. We used to have festas at the parish hall, Mataça de Porco, Espírito Santo, all this stuff. And I grew up with some of that between the 80s and 90s, and then it fizzled out. But my grandparents lived across the street, a couple doors up from the church. And I noted growing up, they never went to mass, but they were super religious. Grandma prayed the rosary twice a day. Vavu prayed before every meal, like super religious. Like a unyielding faith in God, but they never went to mass. So an aha moment I had writing this book was, I think I made sense why they don't go to church. And it lingers back home, where there was an instance where Vavu's sister had, I didn't break down the event, but something happened with his sister and a priest back home. And it left a sour taste in his mouth.
And that was it. He was just, against organized religion at that point. Portuguese don't go back then. Afterwards, that's it.
And his faith was his body. Like, he carried his faith with him, like a big piece of his personality. But he didn't contribute envelopes
they
or
say
attend church.
God is within us. So I guess
our body's a temple, right?
Exactly. So I guess he was right in a sense, right?
But that was wild. And it was like when that aha moment, like, wow, maybe that's why Vavu never went to mass. Like, be it milestones, obviously, like baptism, but just for like a regular Sunday mass, no, they're content praying at home. They don't need to go to mass.
How was the family's reaction to your book?
It was good. It was good. No, some of the family aren't readers.
But they would have read this one because they wanted to find out if you had the facts or not, right?
Yeah. So a lot of the family were subjects or my sources of inspiration or mining information for the book. So the feedback was positive. It's very heartwarming. And for them, reading themselves as characters in this was... it's
always interesting, right? See yourself there. It's like,
I think it was wild for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a positive reaction.
I think a lot of people should do is look back at their family history and try to do something like this, either write a book or create a small video to actually encapsulate all of that information into some sort of, like I said, either a book or a video or something, so that in the future, the great grandkids can look back and say, oh, wow, this is so interesting. I guess this is where I got it from. Or I never thought that someone back in the day did this in my family. I think that it's important. And we're living in such an important age right now where we can do this. Like even these podcasts, we don't know how long these are going to be floating in the interwebs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And who's going to be watching us in 200 years from now saying, look how they used to speak, because they might be speaking in a different way. And I feel like everybody kind of has that. They should look at this side of being able to today be that person that can make that mark in history and put those words and those names and those stories in some place so that the future generations can read or listen to. I think, it's up to us to do that now more and more.
I couldn't agree more, you know, and this is modern history that can easily be lost. And the catalyst for even me coming up with the whole family ancestry project was after my grandparents passed away and they sold their forever home, and that time in history was gone forever. It dawned on me like, there's a lot of mysteries or unanswered questions I have that I never really asked growing up.
Yeah.
That if I don't ask now and capture this and write it down, wherever it's going to live, whatever it becomes, this is gone.
Yeah.
This is lost history, And I think it is of utmost importance to capture what our parents, what our grandparents lived for future generations and ourselves, of course.
Of course.
But to your point, like, what does this look like 50, 60 years from now? Like, I'm thinking back 100 years ago. We spoke differently. Media was differently. Social customs were different.
Yeah.
But drawing narratives of your family members, I mean, it was harder. Whereas 100 years from now, podcasts, Facebook, Instagram.
You'll be able to know everything.
You'll know the whole personality of this person, and whether some of the stuff's favorable or unfavorable, it's all there.
Yeah.
Right. So at least having some control of that narrative for the future.
I look back at my grandparents. I was unfortunate. I only met my grandmother from my dad's side and my grandfather from my mom's side. So found out a couple of things, but the other ones that had passed away, we don't have anything. I have one picture from my father's side, my grandfather. I know nothing about him. And then to that point is people in the family, they don't speak much about people. The history kind of stays hidden. So there's no possible way for me to find out, was there anybody in my family that was like me that, kept on talking and would be a good podcaster nowadays or something. I don't know. I don't know where I got this from, and it would be really interesting to find that out. And I'm glad that future generations are going to be able to look back at what we're doing now and be able to figure that out and go, okay, I'm just like that grandparent right there.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's good that you did this, but you kept on going. So you got this is your first taste of writing a book.
Yeah.
And then you kept on going. So what was the next one and the next one?
Yeah. So I had great feedback from that, and I kind of my apprehension of sharing myself and my voice with the world was kind of lifted. And I said, hey, I think I'm pretty good at this. I could write some more stories.
Did you ever think you were going to be a writer when you were younger?
It's funny. I never really it's not something I had ambition to do growing up, but my earliest memory of writing was in grade school. I used to write horror little novellas.
Oh, okay.
And I grew up in a time where I don't know if they do this anymore. Reading time in class? Is that still a thing?
I don't know anymore. I don't know what's going on in schools anymore.
Me neither.
I'm hoping so, but
back in my day, we used to have reading time, and they would allot 15, 20 minutes, whatever you read. Just, be quiet, leave the teacher alone.
It was the teacher's time.
Yeah. But I used to write these little novellas, and I used to love like these horror stories. I used to love Freddy Krueger and Scream and all these things. So I would write like explicit little novellas, and I'd rent them out to my classmates in class.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that was my earliest memory of writing. And like I said, I went to film school. I wrote scripts. I used to produce stuff. But as like being a published author, kind of just one thing led to another, and it was a perfect fit. It was like, I think I was bred for this, right?
No, and that's great. At least you found something that you love, and sometimes we go through our lives without even knowing what the passion is that we have inside of us, and I find it great that when somebody finds it and continues doing it, I think that's a great opportunity that you have, man.
Yeah, for sure. So after that, I wrote a book called Finding Madeira. My wife's from Madeira. She's Canadian too, but her ancestry's from Madeira.
Got it, okay.
And after so many years of traveling there, year after year, that's become our happy place.
Okay.
That's our home away from home. And I do have an affinity for San Miguel. I do feel at home there as well.
Yeah.
But Madeira's different. Madeira was kind of like my adopted home, my adopted heritage.
And is that where the connection happened with Andre and Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So shout out Jeff and Andre. When I published this book, Jeff and I encountered each other online, so we built a little friendship there. And in the production to Finding Madeira, Jeff actually wrote the foreword of the book as well.
Oh, nice.
Because I wanted real Madeira info. I didn't want to be some exploiter coming in writing about Madeira. I wanted real authentic experiences, and it's like a travel journal, coffee table photography book.
Interesting.
So essentially it's about me finding love where I didn't expect, in an island far away but not far away from my roots.
Yeah.
And I had photography done by a Madeiran photographer, and Jeff wrote the foreword and everything. And yeah, that was my second book, about a year and a half after a Portuguese immigrant.
Okay, so you really didn't lose any time. I love it.
Well, yeah, I had so many photos and footage from so many years, and I had all these travel journals, and some were published in newspapers and magazines and stuff. And I just collated that, added some more narratives around that, and I was like, Madeira's my home away from home. So that was my declaration to the world of, I love Madeira.
There you go. That's a good one. Yeah. Now, these books, when you publish them, do you publish them here and there as well? Do you have them like for sale there, sale here? Like what's the scope there?
Well, it's self-published. So they're registered in Canada, but my publisher, Amazon, they distribute internationally.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
And they're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
That helps.
They'll find you wherever you are. They'll get it to you.
That's amazing. Yeah. And so
after
so you have another one before I'm looking at that's the last one that we have, that you have, is the Scars Saudade wrote.
Correct.
Okay, interesting.
There was one in between that. It was like a little chapbook. It's just a collection of articles that I've published in the community.
Yeah.
But this is my next like major project, if you will. It's an anthology of somber stories, and those discovered moments or those pieces of family history that are the unspoken stories at the dinner table.
Okay.
And how that impacted my upbringing. So it's all based on creative nonfiction. They're inspired from true tales, but I drew narratives around some of these instances, and you'll notice the characters and the chapters, they're intertwined. So it's not a linear progression of like storytelling, but it's based in history, historical stuff, and some from the perspective of a Canadian Portuguese raised child.
Okay.
Trying to make sense of these traditions and customs that are very much important at home and part of your upbringing, but outside the house isn't always applicable. So when you're trying to make that sense of self, am I Canadian or I'm Portuguese at home? Or what is it? Who am I?
That's the big question, I think, for any immigrant child, or any immigrant period. I think once you immigrate, that will continue with you. And I think it passes on, as you're saying, to the following generations as well. There's this sense that you almost don't belong anywhere. You belong everywhere and you don't belong anywhere, because are you Portuguese? Are you Canadian? Or then if you decide to go to the States, what are you now? So are you Portuguese, Canadian, American? Or are you just American? Like, there's this, once you immigrate, it becomes a very hard place to be in. I always say that I never know where I feel the best or where I can say I am from, because I love being in Canada, but I'm Portuguese. But I was born here, so I'm not really Portuguese. I go to Portugal, I feel Portuguese, but I'm always Canadian. It's this duality that we have within ourselves that I'm saying, once you immigrate, it's not only you, but the rest of your family from now on. There's always going to be that.
100%. And like, again, is that like generational? Is that handed down? Are we born with saudades of just like longing of like, I'm here, do I belong there? Where do I feel at home? And some of the content too is like the expectations of life. We're promised things. You're going to procreate. You're going to have a family. You're going to hand this down. But what happens when life throws you a curveball that what was promised doesn't pan out?
Yeah.
And that's something I do touch on in the book as well, of like these expectations of, I've been yearning to be a father, start a family with my wife, but that's been prolonged. That hasn't been as easy. And, not that was ever promised, but that was very much an expectation. Yeah. And what happens when life doesn't care about your expectations and just, you got to deal with the cards you're dealt with? Yeah. And again, is that correlating with saudade? Is that a longing for something, or is that inherently just a part of life? Like, are we just looking for our tribe constantly and trying to find that place where we fit, or I don't know. Do we overthink this?
With the word saudade, and you've put that word on the cover of this book, so it has to mean a lot. Were you in search of the meaning of saudade? Because I know everybody...
It's token now, right? Yeah.
Everybody tries.
Yeah.
But even for us Portuguese, it's kind of difficult to explain. It's a word that has a big meaning, and it's a different meaning for everybody, right? Were you kind of, when writing this book, looking for the meaning of that within your stories?
I wasn't looking for the meaning of that, but as I collated these stories and developed this anthology, it was like the running theme across all of these. That's why I say it's like somber stories. Whereas like there's always, each chapter in there has something that's like not happy-go-lucky. It's hardship, sacrifice, it's yearning, it's longing for like a sense of meaning, or what's the, what's the whole intent? What's this all about, right? Yeah. And as I collated all that, it was the running theme across all of it. So like you said, it's such a broad word. It's hard to really translate. And the content in the book is very wide-ranging as well. It's not just longing for land. It's longing for a sense of self. It's longing to be loved. It's longing to grow, to evolve. And, one thing in my life is stillness bothers me. I can't sit still. I need to always be doing something. In my mind, it's like a hamster in a wheel, just constantly running.
Oh, I hear you.
So it's like, as much as like you find, for me at least, from my perspective, you find fulfillment in some things, there's always something else. There's something else. And to me, it's like this wide description of like saudade. It's constant yearning. It's like, why can't I ever be settled? Why am I always looking for something? And the more I look, the deeper I find these rabbit holes. Like, could be this. Oh, I resonate with this. This is.
I think this all has to do with a little bit of the programming we have as Portuguese and our culture, is that we always have that sentiment, right? And not for nothing, Saudade is the word that we always go and choose to explain all of that, because I think that a lot of our traditions are based on that feeling of saudade for something. There's always, it's very intertwined in our day-to-day lives. I don't know if other cultures have the same feeling that of the word saudade like we do in Portugal, but I think for some reason, and I don't know how many generations we can go back, but I think that word has always been intertwined with our traditions, the way we live our lives. I think there's always that word is always there to connect us. Mm-hmm. And I notice you also have something that is very connecting with our people and our traditions. You have a crucifix in the front of this, in the cover of this book.
Yeah.
Why? What's the meaning? Why?
So yeah, the scars Saudade wrote, it's kind of like what we were branded with growing up. Mm-hmm. Those scars that we inherently carry with us. And one of those is the Catholic guilt. For me, at least. Okay. Growing up in Catholicism, and very doctrinated to follow your sacraments, obey, go to confession every week, carry with you, bring with you your transgressions from the week to Sunday Mass. So there's always something of like, darn, I messed up. I did something, you know what I mean? So
do you feel that it was a guilt that was put onto us?
100%.
Yeah.
We live with this Catholic guilt. And being a Catholic schoolboy, it's like you're indoctrinated to feel bad every time you have a wrong. So for me, the cover is emblematic of that cross we carry. But when you let go and recognize that is one of those characteristics that was kind of like embedded in me growing up. You know, you carry the scar, but it doesn't have to define you.
Exactly.
So it's a crucifix like getting swallowed in the ocean, you know, and it's kind of just like, it's emblematic of like letting go of that Catholic guilt and just, you know, finding peace with yourself, but not focusing behind you. The history contributes, it all leads up to who you are, but it doesn't need to define you. You can look back and say, hey, yes, I recall, yeah, oh man, that was traumatic. Whoa, I'm not going to do that again. Or, damn, you see this scar. But you need to look ahead. Because if you let the past carry and be a weight down your back, you're never going to let go.
As a 30-something-year-old man now, how are you defining yourself with religion?
I'm spiritual. I do believe in a higher power. I don't know if it's God. I don't know if God's he, she. I don't know if there's gods. Mm-hmm. But I do believe in this spirituality, everything is everything. We all are connected. And I think just be a good person. Do no harm to others. Do no harm to yourself. And the universe has a way of solving things out for you. That's what I believe. But to be organized and attend some sort of service and that's a whole other thing. And I think
it's interesting. Your answer is really interesting because the more and more people I speak to about religion, I get this answer and it's funny. You said the first word that came out was spiritual. Oh. And it's the most common word that I get. The common answer that I get from people is that I'm a spiritual person.
Yeah. I'm not an atheist.
And I think it's the labeling that society has put Catholics and whatever religion. I'm not going to start naming religions here because those are the labels. And I feel like we're living and we're going through a path of history where people don't want to be labeled as much anymore. They want to have the beliefs. Mm-hmm. I feel like as human beings, we need to believe in something in order to be able to continue doing good and continue knowing our path or trying to do better, right? I think we need to believe in something, and sometimes we need to believe in something we don't quite understand. Mm-hmm. But that's going to make us keep going and keep pushing and doing better, right? So it's interesting that you said spirituality because I think a lot of people that I speak to are really going that way.
I'm curious, the people you speak to, were they raised Catholic? Like for me, I wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have this conclusion if I wasn't raised Catholic. Yeah. Because that's when I started drawing parallels and comparing myself to other things. World religion class in grade 10, like that blew my mind. never even recognized what Buddhists were, Taoists and Islam, and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But of these similar subjects, is everyone Catholic? Is that
most people that I speak to? Yes, but it's funny you mentioned that part of grade 10 because my wife Anna, she just taught that class this year. And it's what made her, she's always been into religion and finding out more about religion and in every aspect of religion, theology. And teaching that class this year to her students made her really start thinking more about it, to the point where now she's all in. Like, she's all into theology, and she's studying I get to the kitchen table and there's like Bibles from everywhere and every religion, because she's just studying everything. And she is also finding out that more and more people are just going into spirituality rather than the labels.
Yeah, just something undefined.
So, yeah.
And you don't feel this pressure or the precedence of like contributing to something organized. Like,
the guilt trips are not...
It pushes away.
Yeah.
My wife is a wedding planner, and she works with churches for, the ceremonies.
Yeah.
And, you hear both ends. Some priests are cool or chill. Maybe they're younger, whatever. They have a different approach. But the older priests, it's very much still that attitude, like, this is how we follow the structure. And that structure, for a millennial like me, that just pushes us away.
Yeah. I think that's
I'm not playing your game.
Like, to a lot of people is that they don't want to feel pressure. There's enough pressure and stress in the world. I think the last thing they need is an extra level of stress and guilt trips and all of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, going back to the books, are you working on the next one already, or thoughts of the next one? What's going on that end?
Yeah, actually, I am thinking of something. A lot of my stuff is based on heritage and that Portuguese upbringing, but I want to get more into like my Toronto
heritage,
my Toronto upbringing.
Okay, there you go.
Growing up with different races in the class and just the Toronto experience for a child of an immigrant. So yeah, that's something I have on the side. There's no telling when that's going to come out or how that's coming along. But along the way, I do contribute to newspapers, magazines, health magazines, and my Instagrams, and I have a blog as well. I write there as well.
We'll link you up. Like the kids say, I'll link you up in the description below.
Hit me up. I'm Lusaluni on every platform, so you can find me Lusaluni.
How did that name come to be?
It's alliterative. Alliterative. That's hard to say. It's Portuguese Canadian.
Yeah.
Lusaluni. You got the Luso and the Luni, dollar.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit of a nut too, Lusaluni.
So there you go. Okay. That's a perfect fit.
Yeah. But yeah, you could check all that out. I publish stuff all the time.
And to purchase any of the books, you'll have links on
you can find the links on the website, lusaluni.ca, or Amazon as well. Ebook, paperback, whatever you're craving. It's on Kindle. And yeah, like I was saying, that's what I was about to say. My Instagram says it like I don't religiously write. It's not like I write all the time, but it's not like other writers have their writing time, Sundays 1 to 3, they lock the door, they force themselves. I don't write like that. It's kind of when it comes to me. I write when elicited. So when I feel something, that's when I get inspired to, I start writing something up. Nice. So it kind of comes on the fly, but again, like I said, my hamster is always running. So on the fly, there's like 3 things that come up, and maybe I'm working on like 3 stories at the same time, because one weekend I just had... I had an epiphany.
I think that's the way it should be. I don't think we should... I get that some people need that structure in their lives and they need to have that time to do things. I've tried in the past to do that, and it never ends up working for me because I'm doing always a million things at the same time. So I'm with you on that one. I feel like you're better off doing something when you're feeling it, when it's the right time, and just do it.
100%.
Yeah.
Strike while it's hot, right? Instead of forcing it.
If I say Sunday at 2:00 and I'm not feeling it, I'm just going to sit there for an hour. But I have to be here because I said I was going to write, and nothing's coming out. So it doesn't work.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I agree with you. You got to do it when you feel like doing it.
Yeah. And that's how I do it. And again, like I have a day job, I have other revenue sources, but this is a passion project. But this is my contribution to the community. This is me sharing my voice, sharing my experience. And I hope just if any one reader can resonate and find a piece of themselves through my words, or inspire themselves to discover their family, themselves, or start writing a journal. Listen. Yeah. I'm glad I could be a good influence and help other people, because that's what it's all about, man. We're all connected, and
exactly,
we have to help each other, support each other.
Absolutely. Well, Devin, thank you so much for being here.
Yo, thank you, man.
This was a good conversation. You see, it was kind of like my fault. It was unexpected and all of that, but it went well. See?
Yeah,
it's all
great,
about
man.
sitting down and just having a conversation.
Thanks, man. It was great to be here, and I'm glad Jeff and Andre, shout out those guys again.
Yeah, that was a great talk as well.
That was great. I really enjoyed that one, but thanks for having me as a follow-up.
No, and listen, I'll the invitation is already set for the next book, so whenever the next one comes out, you have to come by and talk about that again, and we'll do a part 2 to this conversation.
Thank you very much, man.
All right, Devin. Thank you so much.
Cheers.